Hello, and welcome to another edition of The Blueprint. I'm Ken Jamaica, managing broker and host.
And I'm Katie Martin, TC and co-host.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today, we're going to talk about some rookie mistakes, things that many agents fall victim to. Going through the coursework, doing your 3 required classes teaches you absolutely nothing about how to be a real estate agent. Teaches you how to not get sued, in theory. I love the chapter in, I think it's in practice, that says dress nice and buy a GPS. And my favorite chapter in the entire, I've done 10 classes now. And that's my favorite chapter in all of them. Mm-hmm. But we've all had my littoral story. So if you ever use the word littoral with a client, I got to know about it. But once you get your license, then what? Right? And most agents don't start attached to a broker. Some do. When I coach agents from pre-agent through, they'll put the J Castle license number on their application. So when they pass your test, they're automatically here. That's rare. I think that's, some single digit number of people do that. Most get their license and then go, now what? And they have to go find a broker, right? So this is where it gets silly. There are so many types of brokers, so many kinds of brokers, right? I mean, all real estate brokers are brokers. We're all licensed the same, right? But when you have a small mom and pop shop like J Castle, there's benefits and drawbacks to that. When you have a giant shop like a KW office, there's benefits and drawbacks to that. EXP, Remax, Coldwell Banker, Turtlestone, Next Home. I mean, there's a bazillion big names, right? Mm-hmm. And there's 10 gazillion little names, right? So do you have thoughts based on the TC side? Are there types of brokers? Let's not name anybody by name, but are there, big brokers, small brokers, teams, mega teams that are better at what they do than others? Does that make sense?
Sure. I think maybe one way I would categorize that is by the systems that brokers have in place to manage their digital files. And I would say the larger the brokerage, maybe not necessarily better, but the more systems they'll have in place to kind of have a process and have a through line of how they manage every single file. The smaller brokers, if it's just like a broker by themselves or they have 1 or 2 agents, don't have as robust of systems in place, which make me a little nervous, but I'm glad they're still using a TC. But yeah, I think the bigger you get, the more that there's going to be a lot more of, I would even say like a corporate structure where it's very much like, here's our expectations. Here's where you find this, this, and this. Like there's a gamut of people that you talk to for different things. If you want this done, you do it this way and you talk to this person. Whereas a smaller brokerage, it's like you have a question, you go to your broker. Easy peasy.
Right.
Yeah.
So from a support perspective, how many times do you have agents go, well, okay, but how do I do that?
In terms of like internal brokerage stuff?
Well, like to you, and they go, you're like, hey, we need a contingency release, for example. And they go, how do I do that? Like, how often do you get that?
Not very often anymore. And I think, I think part of that is that a lot of brokerages are really starting to implement a mentor-mentee system. Even smaller brokerages, like mid-range brokerages, I've seen that a lot. And I think that's wildly beneficial, especially for brand new agents. And I don't really see agents who don't know what the hell they're doing seeking out a TC at the start. I think that more often than not, they are like jumping in feet first with no idea what the hell they're doing and somehow manage to find clients, which is awesome for them. They're not doing the legwork to understand the supports they can have in place, like a TC or an assistant or what have you. And they're trying to just kind of tread water on their own, which is awesome. It's an amazing learning experience. I think every agent should do a transaction from start to finish by themselves. I think you learn so much about the internal workings of every bit of the transaction and then how your brokerage works. And it gives you just a much better overview of everything. But beyond that first transaction, hiring a TC or hiring some sort of supportive staff, I think is just going to propel your business forward so much further.
Oh, absolutely. So, I don't know how much of this story I've already said, probably a lot, but when I first got licensed, I was an investor first, right? I was a flipper. I did all kind of stuff, but before I got licensed, and I knew my first broker, Mike, from that circle. So when I got licensed, I sat down with Mike in a bar and I was like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. And I just kind of laid out my demands like an asshole. And he was like, okay, fine. Listen, do what you want. Don't get me sued. Cool. So that was my introduction to having a broker, right? And I kind of did what I wanted and I didn't get him sued. So we met our goals there. But he was not the most supportive. Not that he wouldn't support me, right? When I called him, usually if I had called him, he had to call car legal, right? Like he didn't have an answer either, right? But he didn't really have processes in place at all. And he's like, some of the people use paperless pipeline. I don't like it, but we have it because some of the staff does and whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what that is. And I got into SkySlope because is my neighbor, is like 2 houses down neighbor, and his kids and my kids are friends. And he worked at SkySlope and he was a sales guy. And he called me and said, hey, I know you're in real estate. I have to do one more demo to get like my wings or whatever, like to get us out of his rookie period or whatever. He's like, will you do a demo? Like, I know you're not going to buy, but I just need to do a demo. And I'm like, sure, I'll listen. So and I was like, yeah, I need that because I don't have any structure and that is a lot of structure and let's do that. And so I paid way too much money for just me and Natalie because I had a team, but they didn't do anything. And I paid, 4 digits to have SkySlope for a year. And Mike dealt with it. I don't think he gave a shit really, but all Mike did was sign broker demands. For the first 2 years of license, he signed broker demands. That's all he did. But I kind of built my self structure because I didn't have it otherwise. Right. So I get the systems and tools in place, and I'm a systems guy, as you well know. But there are many agents. So when I left Mike, I went to EXP for a brief minute. I was there about 6 months. And during that time, I became a team lead. Well, I was already a team lead. I brought my whole team to EXP. So I became an EXP team lead through that process. And I became an EXP mentor. And I mentored 4 agents in the time I was a mentor. And their program is garbage. Like I have no good things to say about it at all. You have to play a video game to get support.
It works for some generations. It super works for some people.
Sure. I actually logged into EXP World on my VR headset. Like I looked around and like I was in the world. Like I'm a nerd, right? So I did that just once. I was like, this is stupid. I can't do this. But
I think the median age of realtors is
54,
over 60.
Oh, is it now? It was 54 last I looked.
Maybe it is over 50 at least, but still not quite the demographic for a VR world.
Right.
But also EXP is one of the largest brokerage, if not the largest brokerage in the United States.
It might be now.
Yeah, because I think it's also international, if I remember correctly. Yep. Yeah. So the more you scale, the less you can customize, right? The less you can personalize.
Oh, for sure. So EXP has done a smart where that's concerned. And they've done things while I was there and since I've left, right? So what I've done since I've left, I don't really have any visibility to. But while I was there, they got Facebook business. And so you kind of had like regional Facebook groups functionally. And you could go into a broker thing and ask questions, and brokers would respond pretty quickly, like over Facebook Messenger through the Facebook business thing. And so that was a little better than having to go and sit in the waiting room. Literally have your guys sit in a chair in a waiting room. Like it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But anyway, so the Facebook business thing got better, but then they really started breaking off into these mega teams, right? And there's a handful of mega teams around here, right? I mean, you and I both know who they are, but, and those have benefit and not, right? So, I mean, a new agent joining a mega team, right? Their splits are terrible, but they're forced into structure, right? They're forced into how that team wants to operate. So I know one team lead, I don't think he's DXP, but he is you're in the office from 8 to 5. You're going to make 1,000 phone calls a day. You're going to dial till your fingers bleed, rah, rah, rah. And I'm going to pay you 32 cents on the dollar for every deal that you maybe close, right? And it's actually even less than that, honestly. But that's not how I want to do business, right? And I think a new 18-year-old fresh out of high school agent would go there. We have structure and we give you leads, and yeah, you give me a phone book. Like that's not leads. Anyway, sorry. But people get sucked into stuff like that, right? The EXP team I was thinking of, they're a Zillow Flex team, right? So, they get Zillow Flex, jump ball leads, but they make 10%, 15% of the commission after the Zillow referral fee and then the brokerage split and the team lead split. They get barely crumbs at the end of that. And so how long is that sustainable for somebody, right? I mean, how long can you be on that team doing functionally only Zillow Flex leads? And you have to do, 50 deals a year to make a minimum wage salary. I mean, I don't do 50 deals a year. I did 40 once, but that was a lot of work. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that for $1,000 a deal for sure. That doesn't sound fun at all. But there's no consistency where that's concerned, right? So a new agent coming off the street that doesn't know anything, they go where they've heard of. They've heard of Keller Williams, and Keller Williams has a great new agent training program. That they're among the best there is in training a new agent. They're also remarkably expensive and have the same kind of shoehorn you into, this is our process, do it this way, right? And I'm very much not that way, right? I'll take a brand new agent and I will mentor the crap out of them and I'll teach them how to do what they need to know how to do. But I do it in a way that, how do you want to lead gen? Well, I don't know. Okay, let's talk that through. What do you do on a regular basis? Oh, well, I like karaoke and I do jujitsu on Tuesdays, and I like to do water gardening. Neat. There's your 3 lead sources.
Yeah.
Right. And here's how we're going to attack those 3 things. Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's really cool. I don't have to door knock or cold call or spend $1 million a week on postcards, or all of those things work. Right. And I'm not trying to badmouth lead gen, because everything works if you work it. I've said it a billion times, but there's someone who's new, right, who generally doesn't have much budget to go spend thousands of dollars a month on lead gen, and doesn't know what they're doing, right? It's easy to go make friends, especially when you're doing something you like to do. Karaokeing with the same 30 people that go every Thursday. You know them, they know you, right? Hey, guess what? I'm in real estate now. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'm trying to work on some new stuff. You in your house? Cool. Can I send you a market analysis? I need to practice them anyway. Who's going to say, no, you can't practice giving me value? What? Nobody. Yeah. Right? So, but now, anyway, I could dive. This is a whole nother podcast to go down this path, but sorry.
That was a very long tangent.
It was. Deep down that rabbit hole.
All valid though.
It is. So, but back to teams, right? So you look at someone like Jay Castle, and we only have 24 agents right now. And, I can be hands-on with all of them. I'm not same time usually, but, sometimes in small groups to train stuff or whatever, but I'm available for questions 24 hours a day. Now you look at someone like EXP, you can't always get a broker at 11 o'clock when your client's freaking out and you don't know what to say. Yeah. Right. I've fielded phone calls from people at, literally 11:30, 12 o'clock at night going, hey, my client just called me. They're freaking out. I don't know what to say. Cool. Give me some background. Neat. Here's the answer. Okay, thanks. Deal stays together. People got sleep. It was great. So now if you have to go into a virtual waiting room, sit in a virtual chair and wait for someone to answer that question for you, no one's having a good time. Yeah. Right. Team leads are often, I won't say just as good as brokers, but many of them are experienced as many brokers and can have an answer to that question in some form or fashion, right? At least to get you over through the night and wake up in the morning and do it again. So team leads are valuable in that sense. But I look at brokerages like Fathom or Turtlestone, or there's another one around here that I can't think of, that are flat fee, $300 a transaction, real. So no, real's a split.
Oh, I think it used to be flat fee, and no, maybe that was Fathom I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Fathom is a flat fee. Real's a split. Okay. It's 82 because David Holland, I was trying to recruit here, and it was between me and Real, and he has like a 7-page spreadsheet of trying to figure out if I did this many deals, what cost me more, and how do I? Got it. Yeah, he's at Real. I wasn't fighting a spreadsheet. I'm like, cool, that's your math, dude. Bye. Yeah. We're still friends. I still go to lunch with him, but he's at Real. Anyway, so with those flat rate brokers, right? Their support is non-existent for lack of a better word. I mean, it's always there, right? But is it really? Does a broker answer their phone? Do they get back to you in a timely manner, right? And if you're only paying them, if you do 5 deals a year and you're paying $300 transaction for $1,500, you're pretty low on a totem pole.
Or if you're doing two deals a year because you've got a small group of people that use you consistently and you don't have any desire to do 15, 20, whatever.
Yeah.
That sounds great. And you've got virtually no training or support like that. You don't have someone behind you going, hey, how can we help you recruit more people, whatever it may be.
Right. Well, and for some agents, that's what they need, right? Someone who's, solid. They don't need much help. They have their own TC, they have their own support staff. They know what they're doing, and they just need to assign broker demands. $300 transaction sounds like a great idea, right? But for a rookie, for a new agent, right? Going there is a mistake, a serious mistake, because you're not going to get any support or any training, right? So you're going to go there. Well, I only pay $300 transaction. Cool. How many have you done?
Yeah.
Well, I'm only on month 20. Yes, that. Right. So, but if you can find a mentor, I talked to an agent who said, I could go to one of those flat rate places and just hire a mentor and it would be less than my split. It's like, yeah, you probably could do that. Mm-hmm. But, the thing about a split is you don't pay it till you earn it. Right. Whereas a mentor, you're going to pay them weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever, whether you do a deal or not. Mm-hmm. Right. And then you only pay $300 if you close something. Mm-hmm. So is one better than the other? Does one make more sense for people? Everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own, what they want to do in their career. And I choose not to fight about that stuff. Right. Every realtor has their own business. I don't need to dictate how to do things. I'll tell you what I do, why I do it, and what I think you should do and why I think you should do it. But you do you, bud. It's your life. It's your money. If you don't want to make any deals, don't.
I think there's quite a few people who fall into the category of, I don't do well with do whatever you want to do. That they need the check boxes to mark. They need the guidance. They need you must do X, Y, and Z in order to achieve A, B, and C.
Right.
They don't operate well in the autonomous unknown. Yeah.
Some people need the structure.
Absolutely. I would honestly, with agents, I might argue that most of them do. until you become familiar and seasoned to a degree.
Yeah.
But even then, the most high producing agents I have, they have got a formula that they work every single transaction.
Yep. And much like raising children, they need structure. Mm-hmm. until you with babies, you work yourself out of a job. By the time they're 18 and you can kick them out of your house, you shouldn't have a job anymore. They should be able to go do the things without you. Agents are the same way, right? Shouldn't take 18 years, I hope. Okay. But you give them structure, you teach them how to do the things, and you send them on their way. And sometimes that's send them out of your brokerage or off your team. And sometimes that's just send them into the, I don't have to call you every day bucket.
Yeah.
Right. So, here at J Castle, I have new agents that I've mentored from, I just got my license to, I did 3 deals in a month. Right. And I've had agents that have come here seasoned that are like, I'm good for 1 a year tops. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm good with that. Right. Because 1 a year tops doesn't need a bunch of my time. Right. They don't need me to hold their hand on anything. They've usually been around for 500 years. Right. They're Civil War vets. They can do what they need to do. I see your smirk there.
Civil War vets. That was such a sly jab. I might start using that as an insult for people. So
I say it all the time
at the Civil War.
It works really well. So
I love that.
Actually, side note, the last Civil War vet actually died in like 1972 or something.
Okay.
They were like a drummer boy at like 7 years old or something, and they lived to be 100. I don't remember the math, but it was literally it was something like the Civil War vet, Snoop Dogg, and Picasso were all alive at the same time.
Oh my God.
It was.
No. I can't handle that. It's Friday night. No, I can't handle that.
It's lining up anyway. So, but no. So back to teams. Team leads do serve a purpose, right? So I've had agents that I've mentored, right? And one of them is Eddie, right? And we've Eddie, we've had Eddie in the podcast. But Eddie, when he figured his life out, his real estate life, he was looking for the next step. And I was like, dude, build a team. He's like, am I ready for that? And we had a deep conversation about it. And I said, you are, and here's why. And I laid out a bunch of reasons, a bunch of things that he's really good at. And I gave him some of our lower producing, newer agents and said, take these agents, right, and build them up, right? They need the things that you have just gained, right? It's fresh in your head. You're a good communicator. Take these new, and I say new as in low transaction count, not saying new, just licensed or young or anything, but some of them are, some of them aren't, right? One of them has had a license for 10 years and has done 2 deals, right? So they don't know what they're doing, right? It's been a half a decade since they did a deal, but they don't know lead gen. They don't know, how to run. They don't know the contracts anymore because they've changed 1,000 times since they last did a contract, right? So making him be a team lead and giving him the ability to train others to take rookies and make them into not rookies, really helped. And when he came here, he was a rookie. He had done, I don't think he'd done a single deal when he came here. Maybe he had done one like with a team leader, a mentor, or something at his last place. But he went from 0 to hero in the span of 2.5 years.
Yeah, he absolutely crushed it.
Yeah. So, but to give him that space and to give him that role allows him to then bring rookies on and keep them from making the mistakes that we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So that team leads can be very effective that way because he can give them more time than I can. Right. And it takes my attention from 25 agents down to 19 agents because he doesn't need much help anymore. He just took 5 agents off my plate. Right. So now I can give the other 19 that need it more undivided attention. Right. So from a structure perspective here, that works very well. Now, you extrapolate that out to someone like a mega team at EXP or KW or fill in your big box brokerage. They have different structures and strategies, right? There's one that's based, an EXP team based in El Dorado Hills, and they're big. They've got 100+ agents on their team. They're the big Zillow Flex team out here. And I have friends that are on that team. I have agents I've worked with and some that I've become friends with. And I was like, hey, when are you coming to J Castle? Poke, ha ha. They're like, I need Zillow Flex. Like, I don't know how to lead gen. I don't, the only deals I do are from Zillow Flex and I make no money, but if I didn't do those, I wouldn't do any.
That's their bread and butter. Yeah.
Right. And that's horrible in my opinion, because it is my job as your leader, team lead, broker, mentor, fill in another title, but as your leader, right, to teach you how to do your job. And that is more than just answer a Zillow lead and fill out a contract, right? There's teaching you how to lead gen. There's teaching you how to market. There's teaching you how to market your listings, right? So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into being a leader and a mentor that I think that a lot of team leads, especially at the bigger box mega team things, they don't want to teach you that. They want you dependent on them because that's how they make their money, right? The mega team leaders make more money by keeping their team members locked into their team ecosystem than they do making their own deals.
Almost like an MLM.
Yeah.
It's their downline.
Almost exactly like an MLM.
Yeah.
So, but to take a rookie agent, right, shoehorn them into whatever process or structure you have in place and make it be a boiler room, right? That one agent that has the 8 to 5,000 calls a day thing, that is legitimately a boiler room from the 90s at, Wall Street.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's terrible. Like, I can't, less than 0.1% of people would enjoy that. I can stand firmly on that made up statistic. Right. Right. But I believe that that's true. Right. I don't know a single person within 10 arm's lengths of me that would enjoy sitting in a room, dialing the phone, trying to find real estate clients. I don't know anybody like that. That's terrible. But if that's all a rookie agent learns, it's all they know how to do is dial the phone and read from a script. Their leader is doing a huge disservice.
Because there's so much more. Yeah.
Yeah. That there's, as you know, we've talked about this when you first came here, right? Is what do you like to do? How do you want to, I am behind my agents 1,000%. No one will work harder for them than they will, but I'm a close second. If they want to crush it and do 1,000 things at once, I'm right there with you. I can do 1,000 things too. If you want to sit on the couch, eat bonbons, I am already fat. I can eat the hell out of some bonbons. So, tell me what you want. Yeah. And I have agents that eat a lot of bonbons, and I have agents that are crushing it. Mm-hmm. Right. But I won't, as a leader mentor, right? I won't go, hey, did you make your calls? 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 I don't want that life. And you don't want me to have that life. Mm-hmm. Right. Go, hey, what are you going to do this week? I'm going to make 20 calls. Sweet. Talk to you Monday. You don't call me Monday. You don't make our check-in meeting. I'm not going to chase you down. It's not my job. This is your business. I'm here to support it. I'm not here to chase you down. Right. But if you come back to me and go, hey, sorry, I missed your meeting. I was with the client. That's a good reason to miss a meeting.
Yep.
Right. How'd that go? Cool. Let's go to the next step. Right. But the agents that just don't respond and just are like, you know what? I'll call you when I need something. Cool. I mean, you sure? Because I can give you direction to the next step. Yeah, I'll call you later.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to put you in a boiler room. I'm not going to hold your hand. I will absolutely walk beside you. I will not push you. Mm-hmm. And if you want to follow me because I'm doing something cool, I don't put dust behind me. Go ahead and follow along.
Yeah.
But I don't go behind and push. So, and I don't think, I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit there because some good leaders do push, right? They do hold you accountable and they do hold your feet to the fire on stuff. And that is a leadership style. And some agents would benefit from that.
I think being a mentor or a leader in nearly every facet of work life is a lot like being a parent. You can't parent the exact same way to all of your children.
Oh, absolutely.
They all have different needs. They all have different communication styles. They all need different ways of being talked with. And I think people just like that are like that forever. So when you go into a place that's like, here's the 10 commandments of what we do. Sure, that's going to work for a lot of people, but there's going to be a lot of people where this just not a fit.
Yeah. Yeah. I have walked into things where like, okay, this is the way we do it. No. One, that's dumb. Two, I don't stand between two concrete walls. There are so many different variables in everything. How to make mac and cheese. There's so many different variables, right? The box directions get you most of the way there, but you can change that 75 different ways between the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Right. So I just made mac and cheese. That's why it's in my head. But I have 4 girls here. I was like, mac and cheese, 2 boxes, done.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many variables in everything. And I think that is amazing for real estate agents. I think it's terrifying for new agents. And it's just a mystery to rookies. Right. And I will separate rookies from new agents by tenure. If you're a year into trying, right, you're your license when you're 18 and not try till you're 30, right? You're still a rookie until you're 30 at that point, right? Mm-hmm. But if you get your license on your 18th birthday and by 19, you've done 10 deals, you stop being a rookie 2 months in.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're a new agent for a while because, you've done some things, you kind of have your feet wet, but you're not neck deep yet. You dip your toes in.
I find it fascinating that people will refer to realtors as new agents and seasoned veterans and all that kind of stuff because real estate changes so much throughout even the year. There's new forms constantly implemented. We have things like COVID happen and there's like 16 different things that you have to do procedurally. And so, yeah, you may have been in real estate for 20 years, but the real estate that you started in doesn't look like the real estate you're playing now.
Oh, 100%. And I love I've been in, I'm a 20-year agent. Cool. I did more deals in 2022 than you did in 20 years. So yeah, shut your mouth. But didn't say that verbatim, I don't think. But no, I agree that everything changes so much that sometimes being as seasoned as that is a disadvantage.
Yeah, because people definitely get set in their ways and they have arguably bad habits. And yeah.
So at what point, this is a good thought exercise. At what point does a seasoned agent functionally become a rookie? Is that a circle? Is that I was new in 1990. I killed it until 2010, 20 years in, but then everything started changing and I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't think that's unique to real estate. I think that's just any industry that you leave for a certain period of time or you're not as active in. You're going to, okay, this is a silly example, but I played competitive soccer and rec soccer growing up from age 6 to my senior year of high school. But I took a break after my freshman year for 2 years and went back to my senior, and I sucked at soccer after that. That 2 years alone was enough to just like completely wipe all of my skill and balance and coordination to the point where I barely made the team.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of how much of your day-to-day life are you dedicating towards staying informed, staying involved, all of these things that are keeping you in the loop on what's going on. Because you can disappear from anything and forget about it.
Oh, for sure. So I have, again, I'm a dichotomy because I have mixed, I can argue either side of any point pretty much at the drop of a hat, and I can change sides during a conversation, right? So starting with do they become a rookie again? I think that, to your point, everybody does at some point, right? Unless you are monitoring everything that changes, every variable in an industry that changes. You know, there is a cycle for technology is like 14 months. Technology changes every 14 months, right? So if you close your eyes for 2 years, you're 2 cycles behind, right? But in real estate,
maybe the shift here isn't to say, am I inexperienced in this? It's a shift of, I always have something to learn with every transaction or every client.
Sure.
Maybe that's what a lot of people forget, is that there's always something I could be potentially taught as a very valuable piece of information in the next 30 days of this transaction or however many days.
New data, new opinion is I am a huge fan, right? Yeah. Because I have very strong opinions and I go, that's new data. Mm-hmm. Give me a minute. Let me process that because I think I might have a new opinion in a second, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, real estate's the same way, right? You know, I firmly believe a handful of things. I couldn't name one right now, but if, you know, the RPA is really easy to fill out, right? 5 years ago. And then they changed it and they made it the Mad Libs it is today. And you're like, this is easier, right? New data, new form, easier to do, right? However, do we need the SBSA? I'm gonna harp on that till the day I die. But so new data, new opinion. And I think that, so flipping my argument there, someone 20 years in never truly becomes a rookie because that 20 years of experience in managing clients and managing other agents and managing transaction coordinators and managing escrow, those things don't really change, right? Yeah. When you manage a client, you manage a client. You know, whether you bring them chocolate or flowers is different no matter where you are in the process, right? But that doesn't change. But I agree on the forms and process and laws and stuff change. And they could close their eyes and forget about that for 5 years. No problem. And you come back and all the forms are different. But the core structure of, I know how to call a client. I know how to have this conversation. I know how to, you know, yell at an escrow officer without getting them to hang up on me, right? Yeah. Like that stuff. I mean, I guess you could, you know, lack of practice makes him perfect, right? But I don't know that you lose that enough to be a rookie. You may lose that enough to be out of practice, but you don't become a rookie. I don't think in your soccer example, you went back to being an 8-year-old, right? No. You still knew what the ball looked like. You still know, you know, what the lines meant on the field, right? Yeah. You couldn't kick one from the center line and hit the top left corner, but you still knew where the goal was, right? So I don't know that you regress back to a rookie, but there is some lack of practice makes him perfect. And I made that saying up during this podcast, and I'm going to keep it because I like that. If you want to borrow it, you can, but it's mine.
Okay. So 2 points so far. Day one of I'm now licensed. What do I do? Weighing the pros and cons of joining either a large brokerage or a boutique brokerage, as well as, do you want a mentor or be part of a team? And I think that's just from individual to individual. Yeah. And then point number 2, you always have the opportunity to learn with everything that you're encountering.
Oh, yeah. And how did we get from where we started to this conversation? Like, I like to watch these back. I know you don't watch the podcast, but I do. And I go,
this is the first time ever before a podcast that we've discussed a brief outline of what we're going to talk about.
We still haven't done it.
It completely went awry the second we started chatting.
No, so honestly, like, behind the scenes look at the blueprint, we get on podcast. I'm like, all right, hitting record, boop. And then we start talking. And that's just how usually we'll have a conversation in chat, like we use Google Chat. And have a
topic. We have a topic in mind, at least.
We have a topic in mind. Yeah.
And we both, I think, come independently with some ideas formulated of what we'd like to talk about. And we just kind of let it
go.
Yeah.
But today we got on and we didn't hit record. And we've been talking a couple of days. So we're kind of catching up on stuff. And I was like, okay, so the plan for today, rookie mistakes, some of this point, that point. Okay, great. We talked about none of the things we talked about in that. We've been on for 35 minutes now, and we have not talked about a single thing we said in that outline.
Oh,
not one.
Let's never do that again.
I mean, we're engaging. We're fun. Yes. I listen back to them, and I like the sound of my own voice. So I listen to them all the time. If you look at our Spotify listens, I'm half of them.
Someone's got to keep it up.
I mean, just take that graph and just cut it in half, and that's what reality is. But no, yes, I agree that it is very much personal preference, right? It is, and it's how much support do you believe you need, right? When I came into real estate, I had already owned my own business for 20 years. I have been writing contracts since I was 15. I already knew how to market. I ran my own business. I know how to do marketing. I know how that stuff works. I didn't need a lot. I needed real estate advice, right? But I've been an investor for 25 years. So I didn't, I knew most of that, right? So when I had a question, it was hey, 30-year broker question. He's like, yeah, that's a car legal question. I have no idea. I haven't even heard of that, right? So that's what I needed. So I could have gone to a Turtlestone or a Fathom or a $300 transaction broker because I didn't need that support, right? Even as a rookie, as a day one licensee, right? But as I've said a million times, you can't use me as a baseline for anything because nothing in my life makes sense. So the average agent, or even the median agent, needs some level of handholding for something. Yeah. Whether that's they don't know how to market, or they don't know the forms, or they don't know the process.
They've never had conversations with clients,
right? And they've never worked for themselves, right? I was reading a Reddit today or last night, I don't remember. But they said, I'm on a team and they want me in the office 8 to 5, and on the phone. And I was like, that's terrible. Don't do that. Like my immediate gut reaction was no, absolutely not. But then you read the comments, and which is terrible prospect, by the way. Don't read subreddit. I mean, read subreddit comments because that's what they're there for. But oh my God. And it was interesting how many people agreed with me, right? I didn't post or anything, but agreed with my perspective of that's terrible. Don't do that. And how many people had a completely different viewpoint on that I agree with. And it's, again, hard to reconcile in my brain because I can debate both sides. But they're like, yeah, cold calling sucks. No one wants cold call for 8 hours a day. Like, that's terrible. We'll burn you out in 2 weeks. Like, that's terrible. Skip that. But being in the office 8 hours a day, you are around like-minded people that have been doing this longer than you, that you can listen to conversations, you can shadow. They may throw you a deal because they just don't want to deal with that agent, with that client anymore. Hey, you want a client? Here, give me a referral fee. I don't want to talk to them anymore. That absolutely happens. And it happens more if you have FaceTime, right? If you're engaging with somebody.
You hang out in a barbershop long enough, you're going to get a haircut.
100%.
Yeah.
So, and I've waffled personally about getting an office for us. And we had an office, right? We had an office on Sunrise pre-COVID.
Let me tell you, I would love if you got an office. Because I have become a
hermit.
house gremlin.
Yeah.
No, I've sunk below hermit into gremlin mode.
Noted.
Okay? So if you ever get an office, just know that I will be there most days of the week.
Noted. I will put that in the negative column. I'm just kidding.
Well, this is a great episode, so bye.
Well, I mean, to your point, right? Like, we all work out of our houses. It's 82 steps from my bed to my office. Like I can do my entire day in 164 steps. Right. Which it's kind of a flex actually. But on the other hand, it's terrible and I'm going to die of heart disease. So, you've seen how food just appears in front of me in our staff meetings, right? Like I don't even get up to get food. I just say, oh, look, food. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I really can sit here all day. But no, I get it. And so I've looked at getting an office partially for that reason, partially for, having office hours, right? Where people can come in and talk to me. But I have that already. It isn't like I'm hard to get a hold of, right? And the Google Chat thing was designed to let us be distributed, right? And to not have to be in place. But house gremlin status, I mean, that is a thing. And I don't think you're alone there.
No.
But
my husband's the same way. So
yeah,
we're just a cute little gremlin couple.
I have one of those too. If we didn't have children that had to go places, we probably wouldn't put pants on most days.
Yeah.
But somebody has to drive kids somewhere.
Yeah.
Often both of us have to drive somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, so having an office would give people the opportunity to have FaceTime, even if it isn't you or I, right? Two random agents going there to stop by to, I got to make a phone call and do it from the office, There's
a reason why Google tried to think of every possible reason or amenity that you might need outside of your work life available at work.
Yep.
Because they understood and acknowledged the wonderful importance of networking within a company, like water cooler conversations, chats in the hall, because they knew and saw how much creativity came from collaborating just naturally like that.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. There's true value to that.
There is, but I haven't found enough value in that to get an office because part of the problem, and we're devolving well off of rookie mistakes now. We're completely off tangent, but part of the problem, and I don't think I'm alone in this. Like this is broker Ken speaking, not just Ken whining about his problems, but our team is so geographically diverse. I have 25 agents. I don't have more than 7 in any given county. Right? So where do I put the office? Or do I get 10 offices, right? Because we're so far apart. And does that do anything if, the 3 agents in San Jose all get together all the time, but none of the people in Placer County do? And so, great, I have a Placer County office for nothing because we get mail there.
Yeah.
It's so bad. So we actually do have an office. We have a Regis office, but no one goes there so often. I increased my subscription to mail the mail from there to my house because I don't even go there to pick up the freaking mail.
Yeah.
I don't leave my house if I can help it. But
yeah.
Anyway, so
back on topic.
Yeah, back on topic. So, but let's spin that into a rookie question, right? Because how important is an office to a rookie? Other than being, having all the things we just talked about, the benefits of an office. Some rookies don't need or want that. Yeah. We had an agent come here years ago. He's left since he retired. But he was at a Century 21 office and he said it was all a bunch of old ladies. He was an old dude too. It was like, it's your people, bud. But, he was talking about the Civil War. They were just there all the time, just chit chatting about nothing. And, they got like 2 walk-ins, a month and whoever was closest to the door got them. Right. And he's like, I'd go there for 3 or 4 hours a day and they're just talking about, nothing. And then I'd leave. And I was like, why did I even bother? I was like, well, it got you out of the house, telling this to him who would be a hermit if he didn't get out of the house at some point. But we don't have an office. So she's like, I don't want an office. I don't want to go and listen to people complain about, the price of tea in China. I'm like, neat. Cool.
Yeah.
So, but some people need that, Have you heard me talk about the third place phenomenon?
No.
So historically, there has been a third place for people to go, right? And this kind of died in the late aughts, right? So there used to be home and then work and then somewhere else.
The bar,
the bowling alley, church, right? There's a third place that you would go on a schedule, right? Every night, every third night, every Tuesday, whatever, right? But over the course of the late aughts to now, especially post-COVID, the third place has kind of gone away.
Yeah.
Right. And so people that, I'm sick of my kids. I don't want to be home. right? I'm a house gremlin, right? To, I go to work for 8 hours a day. I want to leave there. Like, I don't want to be there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But my only option is to go back to being a house gremlin.
Yeah.
Right. When there's a third place, you have a happy medium there. Right. And that third place can be a lot of things to a lot of people. It could be the gym. It could be the bar. It could be, a club that you're in. I consider Rotary to be my third place. Right. I go there every Thursday. I hang out with the same 50 people. Right. It's a lot of high fives and hugs. Right. And then we do other things that kind of bring that more together. But, without a third place, I think that there's a mental health issue because of the lack of a third place. So
interesting.
Again, spin that back to rookie. That lack of a third place has made marketing harder than it was 20 years ago. Right. And that's social media has done a huge disservice to us that way, because people are leaning on social media for a third place. And that's where FOMO and all that stuff kind of originated, is that, oh my God, look they're at this thing or this event or skiing or biking or boating or whatever. And I'm not doing that. I'm a house gremlin. Right. And so there's some FOMO, which then leads into a host of other problems. But social media for realtors is, look how great I'm doing. Look at all these things all these houses I'm selling. Look at all these marketing things I'm doing, these events I'm doing. And how much of that is real and how much of that is performative?
Yeah.
I love when I look at something like, we just closed. I'm the second best realtor on the planet. And you pull their production, they're like, you sold a house 14 years ago. Like, I don't out people for their marketing. Good job. You did a good job marketing, but you see through a lot of it.
Yeah.
So, all right. From your perspective, we're 45 minutes and we still haven't covered anything on our outline. So from your perspective, what are 3 things that a rookie agent can do to make their life easier? You as a rookie agent, I'll add. So from your lived experience and your TC hat, three things they could do to make their life better.
Okay, off the cuff. Read the forms that you are signing and or having your clients sign. Sit down and read them once. I know they're daunting. We're in California. They are ridiculously long, but read them once. I would say that's the first thing. So you at least understand them, especially if it's a form you're using often. That's the number one thing I see people do incorrectly, is that they're putting the wrong data on forms. Even if it's something like date prepared or date of XYZ document, they're constantly getting those wrong. And I think if you're consistently doing that over time, it shows me that you have never read this form or you don't understand it. So that's the first thing. The second thing would be to have conversations with people involved in the transaction that help you understand their role more clearly. Talk to your lender. Ask them what their expectations of you are, what your expectations of them should be, kind of how things go. Be transparent, I would say. Say this, I'm new to this and I want to learn as much as I can and understand everything I can to make everything as smooth as possible. Talk to an escrow officer. Go into an escrow office and chat with them. I think they typically love that.
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
Have you not done that?
No, I haven't. Excuse me.
I roll my eyes at you.
I know. I need to go meet Kelly. And then the third thing I would say is, what was the initial question?
What are 3 things to make their life easier?
Okay. Get comfortable talking about yourself and proudly telling people that you're a realtor. Like, get comfortable having those conversations. And this is mostly pointed at myself because this was the hardest hurdle at first when I became licensed, is to tell people, strangers or people I know, that I was licensed now and I can help them if they need to buy or sell a home, because I, for some reason, had it in my head that was very predatory and salesy. And that really turned me off to the idea. But the more I do it, the less it feels that way. And the more it feels like part of my identity on what service I can provide for others, rather than I'm looking for clients so I can get paid.
Right.
So I would say get comfortable with your role and your ability to help people.
So that's actually I think the biggest of those takeaways. So I love the read the forums, because you are right. There are so many people that don't read the forums. People on our team that I'm like, dude, go read this. Because I'm not we're going to tangent if I keep going on that. So, but the getting comfortable talking about what you do took me a long time. Right.
I still have to work on it. I still kind of like, this person just asked me what I want to do. Do I want to say I work in real estate, or do I want to say I'm a realtor, or do I want to say I'm a virtual assistant for realtors? Like how serious and down to the wire of this do I want to get?
Yeah. Well, so my problem was I spent 20 plus years in technology, and I changed industries in the course of 90 days. You know, I sold my tech company and I got into real estate literally in 90 days. And I call your SOI, talk to your friends. I'm like,
still haven't done that fully.
Nope. I'm like, I'm not calling people that I worked with, you know, in a different capacity. It was really hard for me to change hats, so to speak. Right. And I used to be very well, I mean, I probably still am very well known by name in my particular data center industry. But if I called past clients and was like, hey, I stopped doing data center stuff, now I sell houses. The narcissist in me is scared of that, right? Because I am so well known and my quality is so well known in that industry that they now they have an expectation of me being something I may not be, right? And I mean, I would care none, because I am just as good at this as I was at that, right? I'm an expert in both. But back in the day when I was a rookie, I said without absolutely not am I calling my SOI.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop.
Yep.
And then I finally did, and now it's less daunting.
Yeah.
So,
well, not everyone knows. So.
Yeah, and I'm not quiet about it. Somebody called me. I've done business with a bunch of my old data center people, like a gaggle of them. Because I got over that, right? And I was forced to get over it by a marketing company I hired to help me market. And they said, you need to bring 800 people or something of your SOI. You know, we need them in an Excel sheet so we can market to them. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I said, cool, then you're fired. Like, we don't work with you if you're not going to do that. And so I bit the bullet and I did it. And it was once you do it, it's not scary anymore. Once you send out your first mass email or mass postcard or, you know, whatever, well, cat's out of the bag. Like, they know now. So it becomes easier, right? But I do think that being able to say, I'm a realtor, I'm a real estate agent, you know, I work in real estate. Those are all, I think, reverse order. Those are easier to say. I work in real estate. Easier to say, right? Oh, what do you do? I'm a realtor. I'm a broker, right? I'm a real estate agent, right? It's the second power of the second question, right? So it's a whole different podcast. But
don't go there.
I will.
We got to wrap it up eventually.
Only 53 minutes. We got time. Nothing on my calendar till Monday. But you know, it's easier to start small and say, I'm in real estate. Right. And I had that because I was an investor. Oh, what do you do? I'm a real estate investor. You know, I'm in real estate. I buy and sell houses.
Yeah. It could mean so many different things.
Right. So, but once you get over that and you can just skip to the second part and you say, oh, I'm a realtor, you know, or if you're super uncomfortable, you make a joke of it. Right. You know, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a realtor. Want to buy or sell a house? Ha, ha,
yeah.
ha. Right. Yeah. And you know, it becomes less of you're hunting for clients, more of a, yeah, I get it. We're stereotyped, you know, but I'm in real estate and I can help you if you need it. But otherwise, zing.
Yeah.
Right. So I've done both. Depends on the circumstance and who you're with and, you know, in the grocery store, it's easier to do that. Right. Actually, in the grocery store, here's a funny story. And then we're going to wrap it up. Right before COVID, I actually signed this contract in March of 2020 to put an ad on on shopping carts at Safeway in Roseville, right? And it was my headshot and some cutesy words. I forget what they said, right? but I mean, we all see my headshot, right? So by the time they went out, it was May. So we were well into COVID. No one was, DoorDash drivers and Instacart were not buying houses at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a complete waste of the thousands of dollars that cost. Except for a handful of friends that saw it and would send me pictures of themselves with my shopping cart, the ad, right? And I went out and I did I guess it was a Facebook video, but it was before I was on TikTok. That was like, hey, if you see this, you take a picture of it and text it to me. I'll put you in a raffle for Starbucks gift card or something to that effect. I forget what it was, but it was something like that. Take a picture, send it to me. Well, you get a prize. And I had a handful of people do that, but you can play into the stereotype to make yourself feel better about having to say it out loud.
Yeah.
Right. You can play into the embarrassment that you feel, which to your point is unnecessary. Right. We are a necessary occupation where we serve a purpose in the community. And it shouldn't be embarrassing is the best word I can come up with for that. To say that you are one. Right. You shouldn't feel bad.
Shouldn't feel yucky.
Yeah. But if it does, one, get over it or get out. Mm-hmm. Right. Because you'll never be happy if you feel yucky when you say what you do. Mm-hmm. Right. So, anyway, with that, my parting words, I guess, would be, if you're a rookie, find someone to help you, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a broker, whether that's a team lead, whether that's just an experienced agent that you know, and like a TC.
Yeah.
And just, sit down, have coffee and be like, okay, so I know I don't know anything. What do I not know? Right.
I will say some of my favorite clients are baby agents.
Yeah. You train them.
Yeah. Because they'll say, A, they don't know my role really. So I'm happy to always tell them like, no, I'll do that for you. Like, give me that. Yeah. I want to send that out. Give me these things. But I can always tell them what I've seen other agents do and how they handled certain situations, what forms they might have used, all those kinds of things. I obviously can't tell them exactly what to do because that's not my role.
Right.
But I love being a resource for baby agents because I respectively am kind of low on like the scary totem pole of people to talk to in real estate. Like, I think as a new agent, going to your broker is a little bit intimidating. Going to your team lead can be maybe a little bit embarrassing if you're like, my client wants a roof inspection. Who should I use? That's just an example. But going to people perceived as higher above you is a little bit more daunting than someone that you've hired to help you is like kind of more of an assistant role. So I love being a resource for agents of, just kind of sharing my knowledge and what I've learned, even though it is limited comparatively to the other people mentioned.
Yeah. So at Silverback, one of my favorite things was to hire, I called them 18-year-old idiots. And then they appreciated being called that because they had no idea what to do. Mm-hmm. Nothing. So I got to teach them from zero. And at one point I hired this guy who was in his 50s. He'd been at IBM for 42 million years. And, we were working with a client and they wanted things done, these on the left, these on the right. I was like, okay, great. Told the team, he's on the left, he's on the right. He's like, well, at IBM, we did it backwards. It's like, cool. Here we don't.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to fire him because he kept doing it the wrong way. And I'm like, dude, yeah, but I'm like, cool. You know what you're supposed to do. Right.
Yeah.
Same thing we said about agents, right? When you have a solid TC that can go, hey, you keep putting the wrong date here, put the right date here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You don't need to do that. Right. When you do a trust, you have to do an RCSD or do the RPA. Right. Right. Oh, I didn't know that. Cool. Well, now you do. Right. Versus, and now they're educated. Now they're trained versus someone, I've never done those my whole life. I don't do AVIDs. Right. You know that story. It's a fun story. No dying.
Sorry.
So anyway, fine. Long story long, rookies, find someone you know and trust, or find someone that you can trust, right? You may not even know them yet, but find a broker that fits your personality, that fits your work style. Find a team lead, and then figure out what brokerage structure works for you. And my opinion is that most new agents would benefit either from a large brokerage that has an incredible training program like Keller Williams, or a small brokerage that has time for you to hold your hand and guide you through the first 6, 8, 10, 12, 24 months of your real estate journey, right? People say that Keller Williams is very good at training people and then kicking them out, whether they want to kick them out or not. Chase them out, I guess. They don't kick them, they chase them out. But some of these mega teams, I don't think the mega teams train well. I think that they teach you how to make them money, not how to make you money. And I think that is a complete disservice to new agents.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion. Good, better, otherwise. You want to yell at me? The comments are below.
Yes.
I'm happy to debate in the comments. I have no problem voicing my opinion there.
We honestly might need a part 2 to this episode.
I could see that.
Considering we've touched about half of our checklist.
Shut up, jerk. We tried. We could keep going. I'm good till Monday.
No, I'm not good till Monday.
But no, as I think that there's a lot that goes into being a rookie. There's a lot that goes into being an all-star, and not all stars. It's hard to say, can train rookies, and not all rookies want to be all-stars. And I think that there's that's
the beauty of this industry and being a realtor.
It really is.
If you've got the self-awareness to know what you want and or need, you have the ability to go find that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for rookies who are just starting out, got your license yesterday, my best advice would be to talk to as many brokerage team.
Interview them. Absolutely interview them. Mm-hmm.
They want you.
Yes.
Probably more than you want them.
Yes. And also,
as a broker, I can say that. Yeah. And congratulations. Good job.
Yay.
It's a hard test. But no, brokers, team leads, whatever, they want agents on their roster. At the end of the day, that's how they make their money too, right? As a broker, I don't get paid unless you get paid, right? So it's in my best interest to teach you how to make money.
Yep.
It is my personal belief that I should teach you how to make your own money. And so if you want to leave, you can, but it's also my job to treat you so you never want to leave.
I will add one thing to that, and this is something that you taught me, and that is don't only talk to the broker or whomever from the brokerage you're talking to.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to an agent who also works there.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that I do, I'm promoting myself or anything. I hate that. But, when I talk to a new agent, I'm like, listen, don't listen to me. I am completely biased. Look at my roster. It's all on our website. Pick 2 agents and call them.
Yep.
And ask them what it's like to be here, because you will be them, right? Ask what the support's like. Ask what the fees are like. Ask what, if I like blue, right? Like ask them whatever you want to know, because you will be them. In theory, in 3 days, you will be a J Castle agent in the exact same roster they're on.
Yeah.
Right. So ask them the things that you want to know.
Yep.
Because I can tell you how great I am all day. I'm very good at saying how great I am. Right. But don't take it from me because I'm biased. So anyway, on that happy note, I will bid you all adieu. Go forth and conquer, and we'll see you on the next one.